I'm really excited to meet both you, Alec and Jake as well. I haven't had a lot of time with any of our Triple Whale customers, and with you guys being on the platform for so long, like I know that I'm going to have so much to learn from you. So I was also really excited that
Good.
you put this presentation together because it's one thing when you kind of just, read a bunch of documents of what we can provide, but then actually seeing some, real examples of what you're doing with all the platforms and features, like it's just going to be really exciting to learn from. So
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot to unpack just because it's kind of like we've taken a different step in the right direction, and a lot of it has to do with Triple Whale and No Commerce with our post purchase. Because I think this summer we really wouldn't have been on the trajectory that we were for this entire year without those two pieces of technology. It's kind of insane to kind of think if we didn't have that, where we'd be.
that is crazy. There's some stats I'll share also that one of my colleagues just pulled out for me like last minute, just with post-purchase surveys. And yeah, it's pretty incredible what we're able to do with all this information at our hands.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I say we go ahead and get started, you guys. Thanks for everyone that is here. I just wanted to welcome everyone to today's webinar, Mastering Customer Loyalty and Retention. So I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Jamie from the marketing team here at Knocommerce. And I really am especially excited that you are all here today. I know this is a really busy time of year for many of us, and I'm just really thrilled that you are here to spend your morning with us. So before we dive in to all the good stuff, I wanted to let you guys know that the webinar is being recorded. So I'll be sure to get the replay out. If you have to leave early or have to do some other things, you can rewatch. So I'll get that out ASAP. And then also we do have the Q&A box open there for you. Send your questions into us. And then also the chat is enabled. Just make sure that you're sending your comments in using on Zoom. You have to switch it to send to everyone so that we can all see your comments. I do love when these webinars are interactive, so please don't hold back and use the chat box to share anything. And then if you do send in questions through the Q&A box, we can ask our panelists at the end. So we will be having the Q&A session towards the end of the webinar. And I also just wanted to explain kind of the flow of today's webinar. We are going to start out with a presentation from SEEQ, and then we'll have a panelist discussion. And then, like I said, save some of the last minutes for Q&A at the end. And with that, I would love if our panelists would go ahead and introduce themselves. Stephen, I think I'm going to go ahead and start with you.
Perfect. Thanks for unmuting me. So nice to meet everyone. Stephen from Knocommerce. So I work directly with Jamie, and I usually lead out our agency partnerships as well as our brand direct conversations. So that's a little bit about me. I'm in Austin, Texas, and yeah, excited to chat today.
I can go next. I'm Jake. I'm the Chief Growth Officer here at SEEQ. I focus on new customer acquisition strategies and retention strategies.
Awesome, Alec.
And I'm Alec. I am the Director of Media Strategy and Analytics at SEEQ. And I'm excited to present to everybody today. It'll be fun.
And hello, everyone. My name is Erin Watt. I am one of the tech partner managers over here at Triple Whale. I am based in Toronto, Ontario. So for any Canadians there that are watching, and just really quickly, so for any of the attendees that are a little bit unfamiliar with Triple Whale, I just want to provide a quick little overview. So Triple Whale is the smart data platform designed for brands on Shopify and Shopify Plus. Our platform does assist brands in centralizing with data visualization, attribution, and ad creation. We also help to provide real-time insights and empowering marketers and business owners to make informed decisions that yield predictable and also profitable outcomes. And currently we are honored to be working with about 10,000 Shopify brands. And that does include SEEQ, Olipop, and Portland Leathers, just to name a few.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. I'm so glad you guys are all here today. And so yeah, let's go ahead and dive in. So like I said, Jake has put together a deck, and then afterwards we'll have the panelists share any experiences or challenges with customer loyalty and retention, discuss some strategies and any pitfalls and that sort of thing. So let's go ahead and get to it. Jake, I'll let you go ahead and share your screen.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I start to share my screen, for those of you who don't know about SEEQ, we're a CPG business. We're focused on Clearway isolate or Clearway protein as our main, hero product. We call it juicy protein. If you have heard about it, that's great. If you haven't, we'll hit you here soon with ads. Anyways, we've been in business for about 2 years now, and in that short time frame, we've grown it to a little bit over 8 figures. We've actually started to become one of the #1 sellers of that Clearway isolate. So we have a lot of things that we want to do to disrupt this industry, and we're utilizing a lot of our technology partners to be able to do so, especially Triple Whale and Knocommerce. They give us a lot of insight into our customers, and that's kind of what I want to talk about today. So here we go. Let's just get my screen shared here. There we go. Can you guys see it?
Yep, it looks great, Jake.
Awesome. All right, a little blown out here. Let's get that. Okay, so today we're going to talk about our consumer lifetime value, the journey, the retention, everything and anything that has to do with it. So first we'll touch on the customer journey, how we're mapping that. The next is our surveys, and then retention strategies, and finally case studies to go along with it. So our customer journey, one of the key problems that we saw was that there was no real way to understand the tactics that were the strongest at acquiring users and influencing their purchase journey versus which of the tactics were closer to the end result of a conversion action or even a purchase. So platforms like Google drive most of the purchases overall, but they really weren't influential in getting that customer to that point to purchase, didn't get them to warm up to ultimately come and want to order from SEEQ. So what we were seeing is that TikTok, YouTube, and Meta really weren't getting a piece of that conversion pie, so to say, in that traditional last click attribution modeling. So SEEQ, or we found a tool that could weigh these platforms a little bit better and impact, show us the impact overall a little bit more appropriately. So when we were looking at that journey, we were finding that last click modeling really wasn't showing the full picture of a customer journey, and we transitioned to the total impact modeling. Triple Whale launched this earlier this year, and this has been one of the most pivotal pieces to SEEQ's growth over the past 6 months. So what Triple AI total impact modeling does is it utilizes first party data, which is whenever somebody purchases from you, that data gets pushed back to you and you get to understand exactly where those people came from. And then zero party data is that post-purchase survey data to be able to model out and influence or understand the influence of the media tactics rather than the last interaction before the purchase, getting that full credit. So we have 2 different modelings that we're looking at here. On the left side, we have the last click model where it shows Google on platform has a 7.85, on Triple Whale, it's showing a 4.22. Facebook is at a 3.35, and the Triple Whale ROAS is a 1.21. TikTok was a 2.21 on platform and a 0.86 on last click modeling. So what this is kind of showing you, or as like a regular marketer would look at, would be, hey, let's put all of our ad budget into Google because it's performing so well. Well, in reality, what makes Google, get impacted more? It's more so the impact of our social channels. So when we can increase budgets on TikTok and Facebook, that's going to impact Google, tenfold. So when we switched to that modeling, we saw that total impact was giving us a 3.61 on TikTok and a 2.61 on Facebook, telling us, hey, let's push our budget there. And when we start to see, revenue rise on those platforms, we know that Google's also going to be performing super well. So in that last click modeling, Google Ads and Facebook got most of that credit for driving the purchases. But that wasn't as that last click or as that last stop in the customer's journey. But however, when we're utilizing that total impact modeling, we're seeing that TikTok has been one of the most influential and eventually getting that person to come through and purchase from us. So this is kind of how we're hacking that customer journeys. We're looking at the different modeling and understanding what is actually giving that actual impact into our revenue, so that we can start to increase our spend and start to, overall increase the bottom line of revenue. Going into the next thing, I want to talk a little bit more about zero-party data. So we utilize the post-purchase surveys to accurately identify what led to that consumer's purchase, aside from platform attribution. So on the right side here, we have our new customer acquisition flow. Basically just saying, hey, welcome to the juicy side. How did you hear about us? And we have each of the individual platforms that customers can see us from. So we have Amazon, Google, Facebook, friends and families, members, coworkers, TikTok, text messages, all those. And what we saw was that there was a lot of impact between Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, as well as friends and families. So we know, okay, where should we be focusing our ad efforts? So we started to dump money into Facebook. We started to dump money into TikTok. We rose our bottom line, but also that friends and family members and coworkers, we realized that we could ultimately start a referral program, because that led us to believe that 17% of those customers that came through to purchase were referred by a friend. Let's start a referral program. So once answered, the model was able to accurately assign those shares for the influence that tracks the customer journey. We utilize Knocommerce as our post-purchase survey partner for attribution, because it makes it really seamless between our Shopify post-purchase and Triple Whale, because they're partnered together, so that we're able to just set it up one click, and ultimately everything gets flowed over between Knocommerce and Triple Whale. Going on to the next thing, I know there's a lot of things that I'm kind of talking about here, and I'm going a little fast. But the next thing that we utilize our surveys for are understanding our brand perception, the pain points, and the innovations and desires of the product updates, so that new customers and returning customers can kind of understand, and we can kind of understand from each of the individual perspectives of how we are doing and how we can fix SEEQ along the way. So for new customers, we're asking questions like, how did you hear about us? How long did it take you, or how long did you know about SEEQ before making that purchase? Was there anything that prevented you from a purchase? Like, was our website slow? Was there anything like, our links didn't work? Whatever it might be, we want to know that so we can fix it. And then why did you buy from us? We want to know, was it our juicy protein that you're sick of, traditional thick and milky protein, and that's why you want to purchase from us? Or was it because our macros were so good? Whatever it might be, we want to know that so that we can kind of inject that into our ads and kind of have a rinse and repeat process to understand how we can make the purchase journey a lot easier. And going on to the next thing would be our returning customers. So we're asking questions like, what made you come back? What else would you like to shop from SEEQ? Retail, e-commerce platforms like Amazon and Walmart. What other flavors would you like to see from us? What other supplements do you take? And how often do you drink our protein? So those last two are very influential for us, because we want to know, okay, eventually SEEQ's going to outgrow Clearway Isolate. Do we need to transition to another CPG product? And that, utilizing that post-purchase survey data, we'll be able to know, okay, 10,000 people want, greens just like AG1. Let's go after that market. And then how often do you drink our protein? That gives us an understanding of how fast does it take somebody to go through a bottle so that they come back to purchase from us, increasing their lifetime value. So that's kind of all I got on the Knocommerce side. But then Alec, you'll probably take over the rest here.
Yeah. Okay, so we kind of split the rest of this into combining what Jake kind of went through into two different ways we use the data, and two different ways we kind of inform where we go as a brand. First and foremost is how leadership uses that data. So we ideate hearing from our buyers about how we can update the product, or as Jake said, pushing in different product SKUs or verticals, improve our buying process and experience, or key here is removing any barriers to entry that might be essential to retaining customers or acquiring them and then increasing their lifetime value. A big case study that we have from this point is through our survey data, we got a lot of feedback on what flavors customers wanted next. We ran a survey across all purchasers and got a lot of feedback on what flavors they'd like us to push into. And one of the most overwhelmingly favorite answers and most requested was green apple. We did a lot of research into how to make this flavor come to life because it was so heavily requested. About a month ago, we actually did end up dropping sour green apple, and it became our third most successful drop in our history, selling out in about 72 hours. So this is a really good example of how we use our post-purchase surveys to ideate and move our brand forward. Jake, if you want to go to the next slide, more tactical from a marketing perspective, and how we use our survey data is to kind of identify barriers to entry, because these are largely inhibiting anyone from coming into and trying SEEQ and then remaining a customer throughout their lifetime. Two biggest pieces of feedback that we've gotten related to our product as a potential barrier to entry were cost and then wanting to try new flavors. But those kind of play into each other. If the cost is a little high, people are going to be scared to purchase a different flavor or a different SKU. And so we wanted to really identify a way to remove those two barriers of entry and get people to try SEEQ more. And so what we did was we identified sample packs as a really good way to offer multiple flavors at once, while also having a lower hurdle rate in terms of price for people to try it and then eventually become a recurring customer of SEEQ. I'm really excited to talk about this one because this has really revolutionized our brand and our product set. We have identified sample packs as being a really important entry point for consumers to the SEEQ brand. They were a huge success upon drop for the first time and have emerged as truly one of our key acquisition tactics for SEEQ. We have consistently seen first-time purchasers start with a sample pack, come by, and then buy a bottle. Some quick hitting facts in that vein. Sample packs, the first time we had them, sold out immediately. We sold about 15,000 units in a 3-day span, with 30% of those customers then coming back to buy a full price bottle within about a month. All in all, we kind of identified this as an extremely cost efficient for us, but also cost efficient for the consumer removal of that barrier to entry of both wanting to try new flavors and maybe seeing the full price bottle as an initial high jumping off point. For us, we saw that our cost per acquisition for customers dropped by about 49% during that drop period, which again, just proved the efficiency of getting those people to try for the first time and then eventually improve their lifetime value. Overall, kind of summarizing this, the time to that second purchase for a consumer trying SEEQ dropped by an average about 20 days when the first purchase was a sample pack versus a bottle. Jake, if you want to move to the next two slides, I can kind of illustrate this. This is actually using Triple Whale's customer journey view, which is extremely important for us as we look towards lifetime value and subscriptions and stuff like that. As you can see here, the average time between orders for a bottle when we first had no sample packs was about 48 days when they're buying a bottle first and then moving on to their second, third, fourth orders. It hovers between that 45 to 50 day mark across their whole journey. Jake, if you want to go to the next slide, as we move towards sample packs, that dropped the lifetime journey and purchase journey significantly. So it became 28 days between the first and second order, 29 for second and third, and 26 for third and fourth. This is obviously massive as we kind of start to talk about lifetime value, because if the consumer is purchasing at a much more rapid rate after buying a sample pack, then that's something that we can continue to exploit and gain insight into as we move into what Jake just switched to, which is the subscription model. So though we had a rather large decrease in the purchase journey and timeline it takes for those purchases, we noticed that lifetime value dropped. And that's because sample pack cost is significantly lower than bottle cost, which inherently isn't a huge problem, but we want to make sure that customers are coming back and kind of gaining ground back on that initial sample pack purchase to kind of get us back up to that full price bottle lifetime journey value. As a result of that analysis, we kind of moved to create a subscription program, which we piloted and launched in the last about 90 days, which has gone off to a flying success. We're approaching about 2,000 customers subscribed with a pretty low churn rate of about 8%, churn rate being customers that drop their subscription or don't come back. And then our monthly recurring revenue is sitting at about 53K within 30 days and has only increased as we've gone on. We're offering in about 4, 6, and 8 week subscription models. Just looking at that lifetime value chart and knowing how much time to purchase there is, obviously not everyone is at that 4-week cadence with that 28-day cycle of sample packs. Some people are a bottle to bottle. So we offer different levels to just kind of understand where people's level of consumption is at and meeting them in that spot. But however, as you can see from my, sorry, Jake, can you go back one more? From this model, you can see that most people are at that 4-week recurring subscription timeline, which is a big nod to that sample pack timeline journey. So overall, our biggest takeaway here from everything is to listen to your customers and use triple whale total impact modeling. Listening to your customers and kind of gathering feedback from them through post-purchase surveys, through social listening, et cetera, is just a really good way to step back from the numbers and day-to-day and understand what pain points they have, because they do have them and your brand's not perfect, and how you can eventually solve them. It will make the brand, your customer experience, and your product set ultimately better if you listen to those that are purchasing.
Awesome. That's all we got for you guys today on that.
It was awesome. Thank you both so much. Yeah, I don't know, Stephen, you want to take the floor here and share any comments you have, or Aaron? Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Aaron. Then I can go after.
No, please. I got excited.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I think, yeah, I if I had one wish for this webinar, I hope it gets shot out in Narwhal Nation, just because like the level of preparation that Jake and Alec just took to like share and open up like what's been working for SEEQ is like a lesson for any brand, right? Like I've followed SEEQ since the beginning of their existence, so I have a great brand affinity to them and their team. So I may be biased, but I think at the end of the day, like this is like the true power of like what data can do for your customer, right? So like with Knocommerce, yes, like understanding how long somebody's taking on your supplement is one of the biggest recommendations I take to any consumable brand. Right out the gate, how can we tie that into Klaviyo? How can we better understand the faster taking customers? Because within protein especially, there's customers that take 2-3 scoops a day. So yeah, you may have a 30-day serving as advertised, but that customer is wanting a new bottle in approximately that 15-20-day period that Alec alluded to. And then you complement something like Triple Whale, which is a third-party pixel, and just be able to really help combat what's happened with all the iOS updates. And you really can see and learn your customer and know how to better market to them. So hopefully everyone that is here like can learn, and anybody that's watching the recording as we publish this more evergreen can like take notes, just because I think it really is like a lot of lessons for marketers, both like new and experienced.
Yeah, like that was a grade A presentation, like the stuff that you want, like everyone's going to learn from the experts, and that's what you guys provided. And it was clear and concise. And as if I was owning my own shop, I would want to duplicate exactly everything that you just taught us. But I think the one thing that was really powerful about your presentation was the power of a really tight tech stack. So you can have a million different tools, but if they're not working well together, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You need your tech stack to be working really well together. And just like Stephen mentioned, having like your Klaviyo, you got your you got your Triple Whale, and that all coming in to essentially one system that's going to be a well-oiled machine, and really being able to work off each other's strengths. So, just going back to the survey, post-purchase survey, in order to get the data that you desire, you have to ask the right questions. And then you start asking the right questions, is like, now, what do we do with all of these answers? And then that's where the data really comes from. And that's what Triple Whale is going to be able to also show you. And so as, Jake and Alec also mentioned, was that like total impact is really more than just, that first party data with our pixel. It is now, bringing in into that equation and being able to now show that zero party data, so we can get even more granular as to actually what's really going on, and really understanding that full customer journey. Because I think that's the big part of all of this as well. And I don't think a lot of merchants are really starting to do this, is auditing their customer journey, really trying to understand at what point do people fall off? At what point do people get frustrated and don't want to return back? And it is an extremely tedious task to audit your customer journey, but it is so valuable, because like they mentioned, when you start engaging with your customers and you asking them those big questions and those important questions, all of a sudden your product, you not only do you increase sales, but you are now looking at expanding into a market that you didn't even realize was even possible, because now you're actually doing what your customers are asking you to do. And that could be anything from product suggestions like the green apple to putting a poll into like a Facebook community, or even like trying, finding out there was like bad packaging. So like changing up your logistics as well too. There's so much you can gain from your customers and utilize them as those VIPs. And I think that's what's really taken away from that is, yes, that customer journey, but also really having a really tight tech stack that you built with all of your technology tools.
Jake, one question that I have for you is during that price and affordability comparison. So when we're highlighting like the flavors and the packets and the pricing, like how did you guys extract that from Node? Did you guys run that through ChatGPT to just pick out like grouping and clusters? Is that how you guys did that, or curious to hear your thoughts there?
I'm gonna hand that off to Alec on that one.
Yeah, I did in fact use ChatGPT, and I basically extracted all of our survey data, and then wrote some prompts to have it analyze the data sets and then combine them all to understand what were the highest, recurring issues or suggestions that customers had. And it was actually a fascinating analysis and really didn't deviate much between new customers, returning customers, or flavors. So a lot of those same kind of, like I mentioned, potential barriers to entry or pain points that consumers had were present. And we have and are moving really swiftly to kind of address them and make the experience overall better for all our consumers.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is like your customers want to talk to you and like whether it's the Triple Whale AI that helped you better understand like the ROAS of some of these platforms that you wouldn't have seen otherwise, or like using AI to analyze like no open text responses. Like, of course, like any platform, we're evaluating it, but I think the bigger principle here is like pick out those emerging trends and like be able to better understand all these different things. And so, yeah, thanks for kind of sharing what you guys did there.
Yeah, I actually am also.
Think,
oh, go ahead. No, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, I was gonna say, Aaron, you raised a really good point that I want to like make sure is highlighted too. Of, I think it's really easy for Jake and I and the rest of our team to like be working at SEEQ and doing these amazing things, but not really understand that there are real problems for our customers, and it can be hard to take that 10,000-foot view sometimes and understand that you're not perfect and we never will be. But that's the beauty of the business we're in any business is like it's constant evolution and ideation, and to do that you have to be listening to those that are big fans and those that may have been put off by your product.
Yeah, and I think that one thing we all forget, and this was something I kind of like came to a conclusion, like just how much I can easily sell something that I love, is that another reason why you really want to engage with your customers with a post-purchase survey and get their feedback is that people naturally gravitate towards those who share their interests. So it's really highly probable that your most loyal customers are the ones who are the most inclined to also endorse your brand. So I do think that it's a really incredible opportunity to engage with those customers, because not only will you gain new valuable insight and hopefully new customers, but also, evaluate, you're increasing that opportunity to also retain those customers that haven't come back to. And it was, like I said, it was just me selling something that I loved so much to a group of people that I knew would also love it, and realizing, oh my God, this is exactly what brands need to be doing and why they should be engaging, just for that fact that like they're going to be promoting your brand without you having to spend any money on it. Like, it's great. I did have one question though, and this is something that I've been curious with a lot of our customers is, how did you guys determine the ideal growth stage to implement a tool like No and also Triple Whale? And then I guess like also like a second part to that is like, do you feel that like an earlier investment into those tools would have been beneficial?
Absolutely. So I think So my background is coming from the agency side, and we've utilized Triple Whale across every single, high, low side of, every single business. And I think because I understood it from the agency level of being able to know where like purchasers are coming from, where customers are coming from, I knew that when I joined on the SEEQ team, I was like, this is a no-brainer at this point. Gives you really good insights into your customers. It gives you really good visual aspects too, of like, it gives you your cost per click. It gives you a breakdown of each individual platform. And I think when I joined SEEQ, we were a pretty small business at the time, but I knew that this is going to be the tool that I could utilize as being like the only person on the ad side to like be my best friend. So I was like, I need to have something, and Triple Whale is that no-brainer for me. I think that's kind of how and why I utilized Triple Whale right away. I mean, I was brought on in December and we implemented that in late January. So yeah, ever since then we've utilized it every single day. So
And like even with no two, like, do you feel that, because sometimes it's one of those things like you don't know what you don't have until you have it, right? And it's like,
yeah,
and I think the big issues for a lot of merchants, I mean, obviously budget, that's always going to come down to what you spend on a tool. But I truly do believe that us as consumers, if we believe in a value in something, we can justify the spend of anything. And
absolutely.
so do you feel that even though it was great timing when you did invest into No and Triple Whale, that it should have been done at this time in your growth stages of the company?
Yeah, to be quite honest, like I really didn't know about Knocommerce, I would say, until like Ben, who is our CEO, he was like, "Hey, you should like reach out to this guy. He has some like crazy, new technology that you should implement." I was like, "Okay, cool. Like I'll hop on a call with them." And instantly I was like, "Oh my God, this is like the thing that's been missing this entire time." So I think there really wasn't like I think it was more so didn't know about it, but as soon as I knew about it, I needed to have it.
Yeah.
And of course, we had the resources and we had the capabilities to bring it on right away almost. And then also, I mean, TikTok Shop is giving us some money back because of it, because we're partnered with them as well. So that's kind of like a double no-brainer at that point too.
Well, that's why we say if you know, you know. But if you don't know, now you know.
Yeah.
I like that.
But next time I should just slide harder into Ben's DMs. But
Absolutely.
I guess like the other like I said, like I'm just so excited to be with you guys right now because I feel like I'm learning so much just from your experiences. But have there been any tools or even like methods that you're currently utilizing that would become like indispensable if you didn't have them anymore, with both No as well as like Triple Whale? But like if we took those things away, you guys would just like, you couldn't do what you're doing right now.
Probably me and Jake, honestly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I couldn't do my job without Alec at this point. Yeah.
But any like particular features that are like top of mind that you guys just use so often? Because I know even with Triple Whale, like I can't even keep up with all the new features that come out. But is there anything that stands out with No or with Triple Whale that you feel that is just what you use every single day to kind of get to where you need to go?
I don't know. It's a tough question, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like we utilize every single one of the features on both of the platforms, especially just like the customer journey. I think that's the one thing that has been really beneficial for myself, and even understanding there's like a piece in Triple Whale where you can see like the total impact on like your spend to revenue coming through on your Shopify site. And I think that is like understanding the coefficiency ratios associated with when you increase spend, how much does your revenue increase? If it's a positive correlation, you know that you got to keep pumping spend into it. If it's a negative correlation, stop, put the brakes on, because I think that there's a lot of knowledge when it comes to understanding correlation efficiencies, and that's one feature that I just cannot live without either. beyond that, ChatGPT.
I think that's everyone's best friend, coworker,
Yeah,
colleague. Like it's like
absolutely.
yeah. I did actually, just really quickly, if you don't mind, because I thought this was so interesting. When I told my colleague that I had this webinar with No and you guys, that he was just on the back end, so happy to pull out some stats on post-purchase surveys. So I'm going to read this to you because this is so cool. So he gathered data of 4 shops doing 1 million or more in revenue in the last 3 months. So that's between August and October. And then he took these stores and compared cohorts of shops who are using post-purchase surveys versus ones who haven't. And the findings for the shops who are using post-purchase surveys, so their marketing efficiency ratio is 10% lower. So for those like who might not know, that's like how much money a marketing department spends to get results. So it's 10% lower. And then for new customer is 9% lower. And then the average spend per shop is 25% higher. Just for those, and that's just for like that little bit of data that he was able to pick out for our shops that are using post-purchase surveys at Triple Whale.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Just thought that
Absolutely.
was so cool. Just another reason why it's important to work with No.
Well, awesome. This was a great discussion. Great presentation from SEEQ. Thank you guys so much. We didn't have any questions come through, but I just want to let everyone know that we will send out the replay after, and then you can shoot me back an email. I'll also include where you can find our panelists here. Get in touch with them directly if you need to. And yeah, I just want to wish everyone happy holidays, and yeah, hope you make it through next week. Lots of sales, all the things, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Yeah, and hopefully you can get some rest and well-enjoyed family time for those that are doing those types of activities. So anyways, thank you for joining. And yeah, if anybody has any last comments, but other than that, I think we can wrap it up.
Sounds great.
Wonderful.
Thanks
Thanks,
again,
Steven.
everyone.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Aaron.
thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Alec and
guys.
Jake. Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you.